You ever sit by a campfire and just wonder why it feels so good? Beyond more than just the comfort and the light and the warmth that it provides. What is your connection to that fire? Do you just see a bunch of wood going up in smoke? Or do you see the entire life cycle of a tree, of a living being? Is this just a simple piece of firewood? Or are you actually looking at the entire universe? What is it that draws birds to choose an easterly exposure for their nesting site, favoring the sunrise? Hey everybody, hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in again. I just wanted to come to you here and let you know why it seems that I've fallen off the earth when it comes to producing content and videos lately. So basically I've been in the hospital 7 times in the past 4 weeks. I know a lot of you joined this channel recently, and I do thank you for that. And you know, I look forward to producing all kinds of amazing things. I have a lot of ideas I want to share. I have a lot of projects that I'd like to build out of wood. I need to get this squared away so that I can continue to bring you what it is you came here to see. Again, I thank all of you for your support, your wonderful comments, even your criticisms. All of that helps me grow as a person and as an amateur filmmaker. So we're gonna beat this. I will be back. Please bear with me. Don't unsubscribe just because I'm not producing videos. It's just that I have a very limiting and serious health issue to take care of right now. So with that in mind, be well, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you something awesome really, really soon. Thanks. It just doesn't matter how you're feeling. When that sun gets on you, you can't help but feel just a little bit better. In this case, I'm just very appreciative of the sun at this moment, and not just because it's winter time. It's giving everything life, and for that I'm grateful. I just want to focus on positive things, so we'll go ahead and get right into that. So I wanted to take a walk around the garden here and just check on things. Since we have a non-snowy January, February, I'm starting to see buds forming here on the red bud tree. I moved the windmill to the back here. Now this is a project I'm going to be doing coming up. I'm going to rebuild not an exact replica, but something similar as one of the projects, because a lot of people who stop by the house ask me where I bought this from, and I didn't buy it. I made it because I wanted to have a piece of yard art that was unique, and I saw this fan blade for sale at Pier 1 Imports on clearance, so I bought that, and that's what inspired me to build the entire project, as a matter of fact. Along the ground here in front of the green giants, you'll see that I've spread some wood ash from the wood stove on the soil there. Just a little, just one way to get rid of it without dumping it in a pile somewhere. I tend to find different areas to spread that around. But I dug up a garden that we had in the front that got attacked by some sort of beetles and was just decimated. So I pulled all the bulbs of various types of lilies that we had, and I planted probably 150 of them in this area. So we're going to see how they do. That receives a lot of shade once the canopy grows in, because just above here we have the one large tree in our backyard, which is a beautiful maple tree, but that tends to shade out a lot of the new growth here, so that area doesn't do terribly well. I can see here that the pink lemonade blueberry bush is already starting to flower here. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, GoPros are not the best for focusing on things, but up close. But yeah, there's buds on that right now. I put this balancing stone feature here last year. Now I set them so they were perfectly balanced on one another, but due to having visitors and children, I did use some hydraulic cement to physically attach the two stones here, because I don't want to encounter, you know, a time when a child or even an adult leans on this and upset the balance of the stone and somebody gets hurt. So to avoid that potential complication, I simply hydraulically cemented the two pieces together, so now they're not going to fall. And I really enjoy seeing how the light passes this during the day. I actually made a time-lapse video of it happening, and maybe I'll insert that in here right now. You know what we can do? We can come over here and check out this raised garden bed. If you go ahead and watch my other videos, you'll see that when I installed this, I sprinkled some wildflower seeds in here, and despite having sub-zero temps and the neighbor's cat using it as a litter box, we're now not only getting little sprouts, but you know, we've got flowers growing here. And now we'll see if they end up surviving throughout the rest of the winter, but if they do, we're definitely going to have a jump start on the spring, and this is going to be a nice early rising bed for us. Any homeowner that lives in the suburbs or in the woods knows the never-ending story is actually called pickup sticks, and there's no shortage of that, but that's okay because I have a fire pit and it's one of my favorite places to be. I don't see him, but I hear him. I'm guessing he's in the big white oak tree in the front of our house right there. That tree, unfortunately, is also full of ants, but that's like a landmark for the locals, so I'm not going to take that down unless I absolutely have to. When we moved in, I had to have this section of this red oak taken down because it grew up and it was chained to the other. I don't know, you probably can't see it. There's an eye hook up there in the crotch of the tree, right about there. And it was chained to the other section of the tree, which hung out all the way over the house. And as soon as we moved in, I was like, okay, no, I don't want that falling through the garage. So I had it removed, and lo and behold, the tree is full of ants, and it's now dropping rather large limbs. One of them almost took me out as I was tending to the, you know, the grass over here last season. I have enough things to be concerned with. I really don't want limbs like that hitting me from 40 or 50 feet in the air. So unfortunately, now is the time. The bark is starting to peel off all around the base. This massive tree is going to have to come down and turn into firewood, and that's okay. That'll heat the house for probably, you know, one entire winter. I mean, that's a very big tree, so hate to see it go, but definitely not going to go to waste. I've gone through 2.5, almost 3 cords of firewood this season. Have a couple of cords of wood left stacked out here. Again, that's going to be replenished when this massive red oak tree comes down, because that's probably holding, you know, a couple cords of wood all by itself. We have an Eastern Phoebe, I believe it's called, that nests right here every year. And I was quite curious to see what her nest consisted of this year. I noticed that she had been picking up quite a bit of unnatural material there, but you know, nature's that way, adapt and overcome. So I just wanted to take a look here quickly and see what it was her nest consisted of. And if you look here, she's got some pieces of a blue tarp. So, you know, somebody must have covered their firewood with a blue tarp, and she's got that. There's this is more plastic. It's black plastic. I'm not entirely sure what that came from, but she tore that out. We have some fibrous cotton-like material in here, weaved in there. Here we go. What is this? Boy, there are just all different types of plastic in here. Okay, so primarily tarp. We got some moss in there. We've got some grasses and things. If we look at the bottom here, we can see a little better. She's got grass. She's got some small pieces of pine trees going on. Some pine needles or some little twigs. Just very, very cool how they, you know, help us pick up our mess. I'm not a real big fan of people who litter. This is what I end up doing a lot of the time, is walking around the perimeter and picking up all the trash. I don't even know what that is. Another water bottle. Plastics, people. Well, this is going to be the first flight of this DJI drone, and hopefully it goes well. Wow, okay, that was really nerve-wracking. A lot scarier than I expected for my first flight. Thanks for hanging out with me for that midwinter update. I appreciate your continued support and visits to, you know, this channel. I look forward to a lot of interesting projects I'd like to share with you this coming season, and here's to hoping for good health and good fortune for all of you. Thanks again. Take care.